Bostic Bonanza, significant superintendents, and election exploration. All this and more as the Stafford Weekly News starts now. Welcome to the Friday, April 24th edition of the Stafford Weekly News. I'm Randall Williams. Now last week, we told you about the retirement party for retiring SMSD Superintendent Dr. Robert Bostic. This week, we sat down with the man himself for a final interview.
I'd like to call to order the board meeting of the Stafford Municipal School District.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion.
A motion by Vice President Rosas.
I move that we name Dr. Robert Bostic as the lone finalist for Superintendent of Stafford MSD.
And I will second.
For over a decade, the Stafford Municipal School District has been guided by a steady hand. True leadership in education requires more than just administrative skill. It demands resilience, vision, and an unwavering commitment to the community. As Dr. Robert Bostic prepares to close the book on a historic tenure and retire, his impact is permanently woven into the district's DNA. We sat down with the outgoing superintendent to reflect on a legacy built from the ground up. Let's take it back to 2014 when you first took the helm. Every new leader has that moment where the new job smell wears off and reality sets in. What was your most memorable welcome to Stafford moment during those first few years, and how long did it actually take for you to feel fully settled in?
Well, it took a bit. The first realization, because when I got here was pretty historic. I didn't know how historic it was. I'd come from Denton in the Dallas area, and my first historic moment was with Leonard Scarcella. Mayor Scarcella, longest serving mayor in Stafford, but second longest serving in the state. So in 2014, my most memorable moment when I got here was, do you all know what you all have? This is the only municipal school district in the state of Texas. And by the way, the mayor is the longest serving. This is all he's got. He's all about Stafford, only Stafford. That was an impactful moment because where I had come from in North Texas, I was the deputy superintendent in Denton. Denton has about 40,000 kids, really about 38,000 kids. And then here I come being, classically trained. I've done all of the different steps. I've done everything from teaching to aide to custodian to everything. And then here I come to Stafford, and it's a municipal school district, and I've got this guy who's like this icon here, and he's telling me all about his municipal school district. I'm like, none of that was on the superintendent's test. I've got a big doctorate degree, and so what? Doesn't mean anything. How long was it before I figured out that I was the superintendent? Well, that didn't take long either, because I got my first shockwave when we had our first board meeting. At that time, we had maintenance contract, custodial contract. I think it might have even been buses, but definitely contract maintenance. And that was about a $700,000 contract. They cut it the first day. So I'm like, who's gonna do the maintenance? Who's gonna do the custodial work? We've already got rid of all of the, they didn't have any equipment here. They had put it on pallets and sold it and all kinds of stuff. So it was a little bit of a conundrum. So I knew very quickly then, like, hey, whoa, get your boots on. And
Stafford is completely unique. It's the only municipal school district in Texas. How has that tight-knit, direct relationship with the city of Stafford shaped the way you've been able to lead and build community?
Well, I think it completely shaped and changed what I thought about the superintendency when I got started. And the reason I say that is because, and my predecessor will find this out, but I think I hopefully have made it a little easier than maybe what it was. Is one of my other impactful moments was when you get put in as a superintendent back in 2014, superintendent had to present the budget. We didn't have a CFO, so we had to create the budget. And then I had a mayor and I had a city, and they had helped because we're a municipal school district under Texas Education Code 11.303. How do you write that out? I think the connection with the mayor at the time, because he had a lot of institutional knowledge, the mayor Scarcella was a CPA. He was also an attorney. So he didn't just kind of know about the books. He knew exactly what there was in the books. So I had help at that time on the city side, as well as as a new superintendent. And because Stafford is so unique, and when I say unique, for those people who get an opportunity to watch this, I think one of the challenges was even how we do budgeting. There isn't a playbook for that. And matter of fact, right now, the playbook that I use is one that I was taught way back when Mayor Scarcella was here, and then when Mayor Willis was on, then we just kept business as usual because I knew what the rules were. I knew about not just Texas Education Code, but at that time, 11303. I knew the voting power that we had to have from the city because the school district doesn't have a budget without the city voting for it. I knew at that time later on that all this shaped me, that you can't put anything basically on the ballot for a bond or anything without the city's approval as well as the school district. You need 2/3 of a vote. Well, see, that's not a requirement anywhere else except for here. It's stuff like that that you learn from the city that you can't learn anywhere else. It's not in a book, it's not in a binder, it's in the archives. So I learned that with the city from especially when I started with those the first mayor, because I had him for a really long time. God rest his soul. I had Mayor Scarcella for a really long time, and I really respected him and liked him at the end, and I think he liked and respected me because he told me that to my face, that he only liked 2 superintendents, and I was the other one.
After the break, we dive into how his administration navigated the district's most unprecedented challenges and the lasting legacy of the STEM Magnet Academy.
Intensive interview next. We continue with outgoing SMSD Superintendent Dr. Robert Bostic and his exit interview.
A breaking news conference now. Mayor of Stafford.
A true test of character rarely comes with a warning. When global disruptions forced schools across the country to completely rewrite the rules of engagement overnight, the administration was forced to pivot. The priorities shifted instantly, ensuring that no matter the physical distance, the connection to the classroom remained unbroken. But beyond navigating unprecedented crisis, there was always a fierce drive to look over the horizon.
For only 1 week.
Your tenure has been defined by unprecedented events, none bigger than the COVID-19 pandemic. Walk us through those war room decisions you had to make to ensure every student stayed engaged and received quality education through entirely new methods.
College or career ready without remediation, right? So during the time, first of all, COVID-19, there's nothing, and I don't know in my lifetime that there'll ever be anything else like that. What I can say is I always like to tell people you need to, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. One of the things that we had been doing that the board and the city council had gone along with me on, even when we didn't know whether it was going to be something we would need. When I got here, we were not doing things with robotics. We were not doing things with iPads or anything for virtual technology. In fact, I have, many accounts of when folks in the community, even elected, would say, what are those toys that you're getting? Maybe we can have 1 or 2 toys, but we really don't need to have all those. And we had a full-blown plan, actually by year and implementation level, that I had an opportunity to work with our technology division, our curriculum instruction division, to work, and we were implementing it in pilot phases. And so when COVID came, we were in the middle of a pilot phase. We had just got finished with, I think, the middle school with iPads. And so the rollout, because we had a plan, just accelerated. That's what happened. We were already ready to do some of that. The other part that we had to hurry up and do that we didn't know is we had to design online classes, because as you may know, and maybe the watching audience knows, that just because we have technology, technology itself doesn't help you. It is a tool to help you execute things that you should or could be doing on our own. So we had to do things like come up with a virtual school, an LMS that we had, and so that was experience that I had coming from being an old technology director. it does you no good to just put yourself into the work if you don't care about the people who are doing the work. I got to know about your family. How's it impacting you at home? Can you eat? Do you have things for you? Do you have water? Do you have, is everybody okay? Is anybody sick at home? So I ended up changing and adjusting my agendas to have not just topics that dealt with education. They would deal with your family life, what happened with your kids, and anything like that, because that impacts the work, because you can't get that done from home when you're worried about your basics and necessities and your own family. So we had a plan, is one. Number two, I adjusted my formal agenda to make sure, purposefully, intentionally, that it incorporated the people's families and how they were reacting to this. And then three, and this is overall, it had to tie into our overall vision. Stafford is a school district where 100% of our kids will graduate college and career ready. So then, when I got the staff ready, then I wanted them to use what I had modeled. How about your kids at home? Do they have the Wi-Fi? Do they have that? How are you going to get that? And then so to have the distribution and have people drive by in their cars and pick up a box that they didn't know how to use with their name on it, and then say you're supposed to log in, and they may not have Wi-Fi at home. We had to do all of that thinking collectively as a group to tie into the vision.
You've championed the philosophy of STEM to learn, STEM to earn since your arrival. Under your leadership, the district secured over $300,000 in grants to build a robotics program, and you oversaw the opening of a $2.8 million STEM Magnet Academy. Looking down those halls today, what does it mean to you to see that futuristic vision operating in reality?
When I think about the STEM school, I said the community and the trustees and city council, they believed in that idea. And when I say they believed in it, it was a tough belief. Now, what do you mean? Everybody was thinking they were futuristic at the time, because it didn't just happen. It had to go from an idea, then to a plan, then to actionable items, then to the community, and then to a bond, and then to curriculum, and then to all of these different things that it is now, where it brings all these people in. I mean, we've had, I think the last time we had 34 different schools from Taiwan over here. We've had all of these people from other countries who come to look at our STEM school. We have all of the big giant school districts, and I really would love for them to see this. Stafford Municipal School District, 3,600 kids, 7.5 square miles. That's what they did. So when I think about the STEM school, I said, it just takes a small kernel of people who are committed to the right thing to help kids and help families do the best with what they've got to help them do that. That's the example of the STEM school. I referenced early on that I was a guy who bootstrapped it, and I'm an old technology director. So at the time I had drawn out what I wanted the STEM school to look like. I still have those videos. I made the videos. I made them. I didn't have a team to do that, of what I needed to look like, because no one understood what my crazy vision was of having a STEM school. And then why are you making this STEM school, which is now number 12 in USA Today, number 16 in USA Today, 2025, I think, or 2026 in the United States. And it wasn't even on the map. The people here did that because they took hold of the vision, that crazy vision, just like the crazy vision they took hold of when I said, well, we should do robotics. We don't know how to do it. And so on my conference room table, I've told this story so many times, then I taught the first 12 teachers on my conference room table in our old administration building, which is the community center now, how to build bots, their very first travel bot program, their very first ones, and then got them into Carnegie Mellon so they could be Carnegie Mellon certified. And almost I think every one of those teachers is now gone because they all got jobs somewhere else. That's something else I learned as somebody who was going through. So when I think of the STEM school is just more of it continued to grow, kind of like the drones part, where we have the only drone launching pad in Fort Bend County. I think there may be more now, but we were the first, not only at a school, even in the city, even in the county. And then you got all these 8th graders who are now licensed with FFA. I remember calling FFA and trying to get that, and people didn't understand those visions. You know, when I see the STEM school, I see the possibilities of the results of the possibilities that we came up with as a community, as a team, and as a vision, as a team. But I also see at the end of the day, look at what they can do when they want to, and you don't lower expectations, and you couple technology with what kids can do. You don't look at their financial background or their socioeconomic status or race or ethnicity or anything. You set standards. They have to be high, and you give them pathways to get there. And you don't put barriers in their way. You help them move the barriers. And you want them to have a safe place to fail. That's something I never pushed a lot here, but maybe I'll put that in a book. Safe place to fail. Because you can't, if you know everything, I can't teach you everything. But if you have a safe place to fail where you can try it and then make a mistake and get up, you're going to be bigger, better, stronger. And that is the STEM school. And I only pray and hope it continues to get bigger, better, stronger. I only pray and hope the community sees that, because as the community and as the United States goes right now, so goes the STEM school, and so goes the district. But you're on a great trajectory. So if you take that, I think you'll fly. You will really, really fly.
You've been here long enough to see students who were just starting elementary school when you arrived now crossing the high school graduation stage. What has it been like for you personally to watch an entire generation of Stafford students grow up under your leadership?
Well, I am a daddy first. I'm not their dad, and I'm not their biological dad, but I would say I'd be like a distant uncle. So if the viewing public saw it like that, that's what I'd want them to give. So the unconditional love that you have for a kid who comes across, because Stafford's not a large school district. It's small enough. It's big enough to be big enough to not be small, but it's still small enough to not be big. That means I know many of the kids who walk across the stage, and when they were here in kindergarten, and then they graduate as seniors, and then so many of them now, I've gone to their college graduations because they graduated, you know, with an associate's degree that we set up for them in Stafford when that wasn't popular either. And they get out in 2 years, and they hug you, and they're from the bottom of their heart, and they cry, and they're happy. It affects me like a surrogate parent or like a distant uncle. I celebrate them as they win. I cry with them when they cry. When I see them in the community, and they give me my medication at Walgreens, and I don't say my name when I walk in the door, and they tell me, hey, Dr. Bostic, whatever, because that's so consistent right now. And I will see them in so many areas now. It's not even funny. I see them everywhere. They're teaching in our classrooms, and they used to be my students here. And I actively tell them that they would have a job when they came out because you're Stafford. So yeah, that's us.
When you finally pack up the office and drive off the campus for the last time, who are the familiar faces, whether a longtime staff member, crossing guard, or a community staple that you are going to miss on a daily basis?
That's probably the hardest question that we've had so far today. I'm going to answer that by saying everyone, because one of the things that I learned a long time ago is that it didn't matter about what your position was. So when I got here in 2014, and they used to not bother me with the health stuff, we used to have a health professional that was here in the city, and she helped me get the CertiServe license or whatever, so I could, grill chicken. So I grilled chicken outside, made pancakes for people on certain days, and all of that was to build community, because they didn't know me from Adam. This was a community at the time who was very used to having a superintendent who was here a year and a half, 2 months, because it's a municipal school district. My predecessors prior to me, one went on to be the superintendent at A-Leaf, big giant district. The other one went on to be the superintendent in Katy, but he went from here to Allen. And then the other one had gone to Greenville. And so here I come, and they were thinking, is this going to be business as usual? no one seems to know the superintendent. No one seems to maybe care. So who am I going to remember? Everybody. That'll make it safe for me. So when I go out, because I do love and miss them, and then when they see me, you know, because I get calls from the community now, from people who, you know, even if they're not on campus, to be honest with you, I go to nursing homes. I was out at one the other day with some of our community members who I've known for, more than a decade, and they care about me, and I mean, I do all those things. So what I'm gonna miss all that when I pack up on my last day. And to be honest with you, we set the scene up so it kind of look like that, because I've got it kind of set up for our next outstanding superintendent, and he's gonna do a great job.
When we return, we find out about his absolute favorite spot to grab a bite here in Stafford and what his plans are for the next chapter.
Conclusive interview next. And now we conclude our interview with outgoing SMSD Superintendent Dr. Robert Bostic and say goodbye.
You recently celebrated 10 years of transformational leadership. As you prepare to pass the baton, what is your most critical piece of advice for Dr. Adam Stevens as he steps into this role?
Well, I would say my most critical piece of advice to him is make sure you access and fight for your resources who can help you with the community's culture and backbone, and fight for it. Why? And I'm gonna give you a why. And it's really, really, really important, because it's this community in Stafford that came to fight for me and for this school district when we were built. It's the community in Stafford that came to fight for me when things were hard and when things were easy. And so when people who are over or around, or who influence, or who vote for them, if you've got to have a hill to die on, if you say, I need to have this support, you fight for it. Because when you do, what I've found in 12 years, and Sadie Williams, I'm gonna give her a shout out, I talked to her this morning, said, yeah, Doc, you got right at 12 years. In fact, I gave her the photo of me coming in here in the first article. Fight for your community, get to know them, but you fight for them, because if you fight for them, they'll fight for you. And they really, Stafford has done that, because whenever we get too political, I was talking to one of my mentors the other day, who's the old superintendent in Katy. If I told him to fight for his community and fight for his kids, that's what you do. Because at the end, they will fight for you, no matter who sits in an elected seat. They will fight for you, and I can prove it. I got 12 years of them doing it.
So what is next for Dr. Bostic? It's now past April 20th, and you officially have retired. What are your plans for the future?
Well, I plan to consult. So first of all, if they want to see me on LinkedIn, jump on LinkedIn and see if you can find Dr. Bostic. I'll be on there, and I'll still be spewing my version of education and educational technology, instructional stuff. In fact, I've been on that Houston Business Journal here lately, talking about what I believe the future of education is with AI, education technology, because I did quite a bit of work in that. And as you know, I believe and built STEM to learn, STEM to earn, and then actionalized it. And so I'll still be out there consulting, doing that work. I'll still be out doing some consulting, talking about not only AI and educational technology, but about kids and success, and making sure that, because not every kid uses technology, it's just a tool to get you there, get you wherever it is you want to go. You'll see me out there. And you're going to say, well, what about rest? I'm going to do that too. In fact, my wife says that, because that's one of the main reasons I had to retire, because I cannot continue with the pace that I'm sure Dr. Stevens will have, but I won't be able to continue with that pace. I'm going to have to cut off a few days. Maybe I'll do some more of my woodwork, so I get online with that, and then I'm going to do some work with my church, and hopefully get to go out and, maybe they'll let me be in a Sunday school class or a small group or something, maybe teach something. Even though I'm imperfect, I don't know if anybody want me for a teacher, but hey, I can get out there and talk a little bit.
Leaving behind big shoes to fill, his departure marks the end of an incredibly transformative era for the city.
Saturday, May 2nd is Election Day in Stafford. Now here's a brief overview of what's on the ballot.
With election season right around the corner, the City of Stafford would like to remind you what is on the ballot this year and our Election Day schedule. Stafford will hold its general election on Saturday, May 2nd. Positions up for election this year are Stafford City Council positions 5 and 6, as well as Stafford Municipal School Board of Trustees position 6. Xavier Herrera and Frank R. Heathcock are running for Stafford City Council position number 5. Tim Wood and Kenneth W. Grant Jr. are both running for City Council position 6. Adam Sanchez and Joycelyn Bennett are the two candidates for SMSD Board position 6. For more information, visit staffordtx.gov. This is your chance to make your voice heard in the Stafford community. We hope you come out, learn about the candidates, and take time to vote in your local election.
That's a wrap on our news for this week. Thank you for joining us. For everyone here at Stafford Weekly News, I'm Randall Williams. May all your news be good news.
This program was produced at City Hall of Stafford, Texas, in association with Houston City College.